to a trip down memory lane with Jose, and we're going to do Naxxramas in Wrath of the Lich King area. So Naxxramas is an interesting little area. So basically you go to Old Dalaran, and I believe Naxxramas is in Dragon's Blight. I believe so, no? Dude, I've not done Naxxramas in such a long time. Yeah, it is in Dragon's Blight, I believe. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. So we're going to be going to Dragon's Blight to go to Naxxramas. So that's what we'll do. There's a few raids in here as well, Obsidian Sanctum and Ruby Sanctum, but they're for later. But we'll talk about Naxxramas. So Naxxramas used to be a vanilla dungeon back in the day. So it used to be a dungeon in vanilla. It used to be one of the harder dungeons vanilla, and it's probably the hardest in vanilla by quite a bit. It was actually a very, very tough dungeon. A lot of items were needed, a lot of frost resist was needed, and back in those days you didn't have much of either. So, you know, Naxxramas was quite hard, but in Wrath of the Lich King, they reintroduced Naxxramas as a first dungeon for Wrath of the Lich King. Sorry guys, I completely my brain was muddled. And so they made it a bit easier so everyone got to experience it, because there's a lot of people who didn't get to experience it in vanilla, because basically I think it was like 7 to 8 months later they went straight to Burning Crusade instead, and therefore like Naxxramas was basically forgotten, and only a really few people did it in Burning Crusade to get Atesh, and then basically they got rid of all the quest lines for Atesh and stuff like that because Naxxramas had moved to Dragon's Blight. So Naxxramas is here in Dragon's Blight, as you can see here. That is indeed Naxxramas. You didn't need anything to get tuned to it compared to the old Naxxramas, where you had to have like a righteous orb or be exalted with the Argent Dawn or be honored or revered and have like some mats to go to it. You know, basically it was just you could go in right away. Naxxramas was dead easy. Like it was literally, as Ghostcrawler put it, as a first year raiding kind of thing. Like it was for everyone who was new to raiding. So basically they made a lot of Naxxramas things a lot easier. So you could actually enter any of the 4 quarters here. Like previously, you would zone in here, and you would pick which quarter you want to go to. Instead, basically, you can zone in anywhere, and you get put to 1 quarter, essentially. So I never did Naxxramas on vanilla, but I did do it in the beta. No, sorry, I have done it on vanilla. Not all of it I've done on a beta. So first thing we're going to go into is Plaguelink. So Plaguelink back in the day, these plague slimes here, what you had to do, you had to kite them around, and you had to pull all the ones here. Because if you didn't pull all of them here, Noth would pull them for you, okay? So you wanted to get rid of all of these. So Noth wouldn't pull them for you. So down here you can see later on, this is the hall, I believe, for... I'm trying to think of it. I think it's the Gauntlet hall for Hagen. I never played with that. This is so interesting. Okay. Well, with Nax, the first boss is Noth the Plaguebringer, and this is the first boss you generally do Noth. So all Noth has is a nasty curse, which you dispel, and that's pretty much the fight for Noth Plaguebringer. And he just randomly teleports, and you lose aggro. Like, he was pretty easily Noth the Plaguebringer in vanilla and in Wrath. So for this area, this is what you call the Gauntlet. And what you did for the Gauntlet is that you basically ran to the right side, pulled all the bats. The main reason why you want to keep running is because these bats have a silence, okay? And they have a pretty big charge. So what you did is you basically killed everything here, first off. And then basically you did this, you hugged the wall and killed everything towards here. You did not want to touch inside of the room. If you touched any part of the inside of the room, you would activate Hagen. And, you know, basically when you go into the store here, Hagen will immediately pull. And welcome to Hagen the Unclean encounter. Basically what you did with Hagen the Unclean is that a tank would basically tank it here. And they would do the slow Hagen dance with the first one starting here. Like the first dance started here, you moved to here and stuff like that. Everyone would be on this platform. And then when Hagen teleported, everyone would get off the platform and do the Hagen dance where they go, the first one spawns here, next one spawns here, here, and then do the Hagen dance where they just go left, right, left, right, left, right, over and over again. So after you do that, you get into the halls here. Previously in vanilla, I think about starting around really last I would be. Okay. Previously in low feb and vanilla, not low feb, sorry. Fucking Hagen, you'd get ported into here and you would have to get out of this room, and these eye stalks would mind flay you. G'day DMG man, hope you're going well. You would have to get out of this hall via mind flay, and you could die in this hall very easily if you didn't have healers. You had like a few dedicated healers to heal people trying to go through the tentacle room. Anyways, next up we've got this boss, which is Lopheb. Lopheb's name is an anagram for Healbot, just in case you guys are wondering. It's an anagram for Healbot. And basically it's a fight where you don't get to heal that much. Like everyone's DPSing. There's like 4 or 5 seconds you get to heal everyone up to top. But overall it's all about drinking shadow resist pots, making sure you avoid damage, making sure you get a damage boost from the spores, which increase your crit rate by 100% in your damage. And that's pretty much the fight. You just basically you use the time to get the spores, use the time to make sure you don't die to damage and stuff like that, and you just reduce the damage done to you. Anyways, that was Plaguelink. Let's do Spider. So basically after Plaguelink you would do Spider, or you could do either Spider or Plaguelink, to be honest, because the easiest rings are Spider and Plaguelink, okay? Because they're very, very easy. In fact, the easiest boss is in here, which is Enumeraiken. And Enumeraiken is just really, really easy. Like, basically super, super easy. What you have to watch out for is you have to watch out for he throws a spike around as well. And also, eventually, he chases one person around the room. And you just basically run in a circle, run in the ring around the room until he stops chasing, and that's it. And when he starts chasing, he says, run, let the blood flow fast, and you just have to cut him around the room. Overall, he's a tank and spank fight, and he's fairly easy. Like, it's not any difficult at all. And he's just as much as a joke as he was in Vanilla, as he is in Nax, as he's in Wrath. It's just as much as a joke. So next boss coming up. So by the way, guys, if you actually go through the exact middle here, you don't pull any of the previous to the left and right. It's a little thing I learned in Wrath. Basically, if you go down the exact middle, you avoid everything. But that's really, really hard to pull off. So next one is Grand Widow Feralina, and she's just as easy, okay? Like she is also a joke on this difficulty. So what you have to do is you have to kill all the worshippers beside her, but there's a twist, okay? You only kill the worshippers when she has an enraged debuff, okay? She has a frenzy debuff that she has, and killing a worshipper near her will turn it off. But we can just kill her like that, okay? Because we're like way too high level for it. But what she did like random plague bolt volleys, random fires, and what you had to do was you had to kill an ad when she berserked and frenzied. You kill an ad and she defrenzy. I think as well, I do remember that if you killed an ad early next to her, it actually delays the cooldown of her frenzy as well. So even if you fuck up and kill it before she frenzies, you still put a 30-second cooldown on it. And I think most guilds towards the end of it just did it for shits and giggles, just put it on cooldown. Next up, we got Naxxramas. Oh, why did I get ported? That's interesting. Naxxramas. So Naxxramas, very, very interesting boss. Oh yeah, I've got Neverwalk so I can run faster. So Naxxramas was a very interesting boss where she would just teleport, go invisible, and spin you onto a web. Oh no, she didn't go. Sorry, she doesn't go invisible. She puts you onto a web. So she puts 3 people onto the web wall, and you have to break them out. And she was also another room where you could get frozen runes to farm to get frost resist, basically, and to get tier 3 armor. Like, generally, there's always a frozen rune in Naxxramas' room. So Naxxramas is basically handle the poison correctly, handle the spiderwebs correctly. She berserks at 30% and does a fuck ton of damage. You need to be able to break people out of a web wrap as soon as you can, okay? As soon as you can. And afterwards, you get a teleport. The teleport's right here. Now, next up, we're going to get to the harder wings, which is going to be like military and stuff like that. And we're going to go to Plaguelink. Not Plaguelink, we're going to go to, I believe it is the Construct Quarter. Yep, that is. So these guys used to be the Choo Choo Train Cleave team. So these Patchwork Golems, if you were really, really bad and you all spread out like you basically spread out instead of stacking up, he would constantly cleave your raid and kill everyone, okay? So you need to make sure that didn't happen. Also, as well, you can pull Globulus up here. So basically, these would cleave. These mobs here, the Embalming Slimes, needed to be killed by range mobs because these guys blow up and do a fuck ton of damage to melee. How much hours do you have in WoW? Probably a fuck ton, probably like over a year. That guy died, he did. Okay, so we're gonna go to the most iconic boss in WoW, which is Patchwork. So for Patchwork, you have to pull everything here. If you don't pull everything here, the moment you pull Patchwork, everything will come after you. Okay? We also have Frogger. So there's slimes here. If you get hit by any of these slimes, you take a lot of damage and potentially you would die. So to do Frogger, you just basically, just run through it like this. But some people usually grip people into it and kill people with Frogger, okay? That's the part of Frogger there. So here's Patchwork. Patchwork is a meme boss. That is a pure single target boss and only requires 2 tanks. It does Hateful Strike on the second highest person. Like the second highest, person on the aggro type table. It does a Hateful Strike, which does a lot of damage. And you have to keep that one person, like the other tanks, as high as possible. Like you have to get them as high as possible. Like the moment they go down to like 20% health, you got to get them back up to 100% before the next Hateful Strike. Next up is Globulus. Globulus is a joke. Like all you have to do with Globulus is just make sure that you have basically Globulus drops a giant poison cloud. And basically what you do with Globulus is like you tank him here, drops the poison cloud, you tank it back here, drops the poison cloud, tank it back here, and continuously do that over and over and over again until Globulus was dead. And that's all you had to do here. Also with this trash mob as well, there's these living monstrosities that drop a lightning totem. You need to kill that totem right away. But anyways, nonetheless, with Globulus though, it's just basically hit the boss, go back, he drops a poison cloud, eventually he summons a slime, that targets someone. That person needs to just run out the raid, and also there's an injection as well, which that person just runs out the raid as well. And overall, like, Globulus is just managing the injections and just managing the poison puddles, and that's it. Now, next boss is Glophy. And I'll tell you now, so many people kill themselves on this boss because if you have any things that do any damage to you, you'll die on this boss. You gotta also be careful when you go into Glophy as well, because if you fall down, you'll fall down that Patchwork's room, okay? And you won't enjoy it. Just an FYI. So anyway, here's Glophy. So Glophy engages the moment you jump down, and he has multiple abilities. One which is basically Decimate, so you want to tank Glophy to here. The main reason why you want to tank Glophy here is that Glophy spawns adds here, here, and here, and those adds will move slowly towards the boss. Or, no, they're tankable actually, they're tankable adds. And you don't want Glophy to be near any of the adds, because if Glophy is near any of the adds, he will eat them and recover health. So what happens during the fight, it does a move called Decimate, where everyone's HP is reduced to 1, including the adds. So basically what happens when Decimate occurs, you need to keep a shield on someone, like including the main tank as well, and then heal the hell out of them and kill all the zombies. So what happens when he decimates is he focuses on eating the zombies. So you need to make sure that all the zombies are dead before he gets to them, basically. And that's pretty much the fight there. I'm not sure if I'll be able to port out given the fact that I'm in combat. But anyways, doesn't really matter too much. So with this boss here, Fugan and Stalag, this is Thaddeus. So what you have to do is you have to kill both of these guys at the same time. But in Wrath, you don't have to kill both of them at the same time. You can kill them at different times, but it's preferable to kill them at the same time because that Tesla coil will do a fuck ton of damage to you. So basically what happens is that after you kill both of them, Thaddeus will activate. And basically you have to fight Thaddeus. Okay, so Thaddeus is a unique fight where basically you have to have plus signs on one side and they give extra damage to people, and minus signs on the other side. So what you had was your minus signs go to the right foot and your plus signs go to the left foot. And pretty much you can change that during the fight, but you got a 1 or 2 second delay on it actually hitting you. So pretty much what you do is basically when you switch, if you're right, you stay subtract or minus, if you're left, stay plus. And there was nothing else in the fight that was any difficult. It's just basically managing that, plus or minus. And when you managed that and killed it, it was just easy. If you fuck up, minus and subtract, it will kill a person. Like, it will 100% kill a person. So next up, we're going to Military Wing. And Military Wing had some really, really hard bosses. Like, first of all, it had Instructor Vesuvius. He wasn't that hard Vesuvius. It required 2 Shadow Priests with hit cap. Like, they had to be hit cap, otherwise they'd miss MCs and potentially wipe the raid. And that's all it needed. And Vesuvius was a pretty easy boss. He hit really hard though. Like, Vesuvius hit incredibly hard. So basically, it was untankable. You had to use the minions to tank, and healers would have to heal the hell out of the minions. And it's a bit difficult. Okay, I'll tell you that, it's a bit difficult, this boss. Like, especially if you don't have the priests. If you don't have the priests, what they added in the Lich King expansion, they added a Beatings Crystal, which MCs the understudies. So basically you have 2 understudies here, and you use them to tank Vesuvius. So basically when one understudy dies, you use the other one to tank him as well. So pretty much it's just you MC the ad, it tanks Vesuvius, and you DPS the hell out of Vesuvius. Vesuvius had a screaming shout, which starts everyone within 30 yards. So basically, what you have to do is just don't be in 30 yards of it. So basically casters would be max range against it. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Vesuvius is just mainly making sure the understudies are tanking the boss. So next up is we got a few more things here. After we kill these guys, by the way, we'll be getting to Gothic. So Gothic is a really unique boss, like very, very unique boss, where you have to split your raid up in between living and dead side. So what happens is when you attack Gothic, because Gothic starts up here before he teleports down. So what you have to do is you have to kill everything on live side. So anything that gets killed on live side, which is here, will move over to dead side where all the skulls are pretty much. So that's pretty much how the fight went. I'm not sure if you can kill Gothic guys up there. No, you can't. So basically live and dead side are split. So anyone on dead side can't get to live side and vice versa. Eventually that door opens when you've killed enough on live or dead side. I can see they have not sped up the thing at all, which is kind of annoying. So basically you gotta kill all the ads on live side and they'll spawn on dead side. This boss fight takes a while, by the way. So basically what you did is the quicker you killed it on that side, they would all go to the undead side. Like after 10 seconds, they'll move to undead side as you see the spirits moving down here. Don't worry, they'll aggro on me, by the way. They'll run through the door and aggro on me. Actually, they won't. Wow, I'm actually a bit surprised. But eventually he opens the door, okay? Like after a while, like after you killed all these ads, he opens the door. So this is a timed fight, by the way. So basically, if you want to talk about anything, you can probably talk about it now. So it's like a timed fight. Basically, eventually the door will open after a while, and we'll be able to kill these trainees. Once the undead are all dead, like it'll be super peasy, easy peasy. I wonder if I can fell rush through here or I-beam. Maybe I can I-beam him. No, doesn't reach it. Can I hit them? No. Okay, it's considered LOS. But as you can see, like all the trainees on the other side. So there's a few ads in here that get like it gets worse and worse as it goes on. Just an FYI, dude. Like just FYI, guys. Killing that mobs doesn't trigger a death. So any on deaths or anything like that occur here don't trigger. So it kind of blows. Eventually, you get a mountain mob, which you've got to kill as well. And that's the hardest part about this fight, dealing with the mountain mobs. So this is as you can see here, it's a very, very slow fight. And the main thing was that you have to have your sides perfectly balanced. Otherwise, like there's one of these here waves is the death wave where you have 3 of those mobs. And you have to be very, very balanced and be aware of what you're sending to the other side. So here's a rider, for example. Like they're the first ones that make this fight very difficult. And also the undead abilities, like basically they have different abilities when they go to the undead side compared to what they had on the live side. So just be aware of that as well. And like eventually at one point the gate will open. As you can see here, the gate has indeed opened because it's got enough spirits. And you can switch to this side as well. And also the trainees blow up when they die. So pretty much the sides eventually open. You can just go, undead and live side at the same time. At one point, basically, the boss will come down. And we'll have Gothic coming down. Once the boss comes down, like once you handle the ads, it's just easy mode. It's basically one of these fights where like your entire fight is literally the first few ad phases pretty much. Like there's not much of a fight afterwards. Like it's basically managing the ads as best as you can before the next fight, before the next wave comes in. Like if you didn't have enough DPS on your dead side to kill the ads before the live side kills more, then like it becomes an issue. And you can see here like they've all activated now as well. Actually, I didn't realize I killed all of them actually. So Gothic should come down very, very shortly. Should be surprised if Gothic hasn't come down. Because we've killed a lot of ads. trying to think how many. I don't think there's a time limit on the ads you got to kill. I think it's a certain period of ads until Gothic goes down. Gothic comes down. Like I feel like Gothic should have already come down by now. Or is it timed? Maybe it's timed 5 minutes of ads. But anyway, as you can see here, like this is how you kill Gothic. By the way, if you kill any live ads here, they actually become undead over there. So you gotta be careful when you kill ads as well. Like if you kill any live ads here, they'll turn undead over to the other side. Okay, Gothic's report down, there he is. And then after Gothic teleports down to the fray, you kill him. Basically when Gothic teleports down, you still have ads to deal with. So you want to deal with the ads before you kill Gothic. Like basically when the door opens, anyone on the live side should go help out on the undead side if they can and kill the undead side. So next up coming up is 4 Horsemen. 4 Horsemen was the hardest encounter in Naxxramas. Like before Saffron and before Kel'Thuzad. It was one of the harder bosses because in vanilla you needed 4 tanks. And what they did in Wrath, they changed 2 of the mobs to have to be only range attacks only. They can be tanked by range players. So Thane Corphaz and Baron Rivendare can be melee tanked, and Zelik and Blumex would be range tanks. Zelik has a nasty ability called Holy Wrath, where he will chain lightning. It's like a holy chain lightning, and if it chains up to like more than 4 or 5 people, we'll instantly kill the people. Okay, like it'll kill the last people. Blumex, I have no idea. I think it's like a big AOE. Thane is just Rain of Fire, I believe, and Rivendare is just a nasty tank debuff. I think that's the case for all of these. You need to kill all these guys at the same time, and also as well, the 4 Horsemen would all go to their separate corners, so you didn't have to move them at all. So yeah, they were very, very hard in vanilla. So after you kill all the bosses, there's an orb here which teleports you to Saffron's lair. You need to have all of them dead. And basically, there's a cool cinematic where Saffron is resurrected to take you on. So Saffron's the second last boss, and in vanilla you needed a lot of frost resist to do Saffron, because if you didn't, you would die. Because Saffron has a pulsing frost aura that does a lot of damage. And yeah, here's Saffron. So Saffron also had a phase where he turned 2 people into ice tombs. No, he spawned ice tombs on the ground. And basically what you do with the ice tombs, you hide behind them as he drops frost bombs. And you would hide behind the tombs, basically. And if you didn't hide behind the tombs, basically you died instantly. We've lost a lot of undying runs because people didn't hide behind the tombs. Anyways, next up we got Kel'Thuzad. So Kel'Thuzad is the final boss of Naxxramas. And he used to do MCs and stuff like that, but they changed him. But instead, he does ads more frequently, where he spawns ads that come into the fight. And I think he has 4 phases, I believe. He has like the first phase where you got to fend off A-bombs and other ads. Second phase when you deal with him. Third phase is when you deal with ads for a bit, and then the last phase is when you deal with more ads. So waiting for Kel'Thuzad. By the way, guys, there's going to be more people coming in for CSGO, just in case you guys are wondering. So here's Kel'Thuzad. Kel'Thuzad has a lot of one-shot mechanics. Just FYI, a lot of one-shot mechanics. And by starting Kel'Thuzad, I believe you had to go in the center of the room. Yep, exactly. So what you did here is, like, all these guys would come into you occasionally. And what you can do as well is you can just kill them all like this, okay? So these guys would come to you, one by one by one. But alternatively, you can just cheat and just kill them all like this, okay? There's an achievement for doing this, by the way. So as you can see, the soldiers of the Frozen Waste are slowly coming towards me. Like, towards the middle, as you can see here, like one of them are coming here. And yeah, you can just kill them all like this. You can cheese to kill them all like this. And you'll be killing like some of them that are coming to you at the same time. They all respawn, by the way, so this is kind of pointless. This is another one like Gothic, by the way. The A-bombs have a move called, what was it? Called something Wound. And you gotta be careful when taking these A-bombs. You gotta kill the unstoppable A-bombs as quickly as you can. So as you can see here, all these soldiers of the waste will come through bit by bit. and then eventually A-bombs and Banshees will come through. So as you can see here, the first A-bombs coming through. And eventually you get a Banshee come through as well. Only ranged can tank the Banshees, just an FYI. So once you've done the ad phase, so basically the ad phase basically meant you have to, you know, just DPS the ads. Like you have to make sure that all the ads were dead, basically. Also, the soldiers of the Frozen Waste would focus on a random player. They would not focus on the tank. They would focus on a random player as well. And I think they can make the marked player, but they do a lot of damage if they do. Which the marked player is always me, by the way, guys. So eventually, just like Gothic, this fight gets harder and harder because they will throw more soldiers at you, as well as throwing a Banshee at you and an A-bomb at you at the same time. But if you're able to, you know, get rid of the A-bombs and stuff like that as quick as you can, the boss fight will be over pretty quick. Anyways, by the way, guys, we're going to go to CSGO shortly. Just in case you guys are not on YouTube. Like, I'm doing this just before I'm casting a game. Which probably was not the greatest of idea, because I completely forgot about Gothic, and I completely forgot about Kel'Thuzad having these hard checks on time. So eventually Kel'Thuzad will become attackable. So over time, I think it's over 2 minutes and 10 seconds, I believe, so it should be becoming attackable soon. So as you can see, like, there's all these ads coming in. I think it's the Banshees that got within melee range and did a giant arcane explosion. So yeah. So as you can see here, like, you know, these ads would constantly come in. I'm pulling way too much as an FYI. And you can see here, like, you know, we've got 2 Banshees to deal with now. Like, we had 3 Banshees earlier. And it gets to the point where it's, like, seems overwhelming. But Kel'Thuzad will snap out and attack. And basically the tank needs to get Kel'Thuzad immediately. Like, if the tank doesn't get Kel'Thuzad immediately, he will start one-shotting DPS, because Kel'Thuzad hits really fucking hard. Like, his Frostbolt hits really, really hard. So yeah, once you've done killing these soldiers of the wastes, eventually he will activate. There we go. He activates. Activating shortly, actually. He said Screamer Dying Breath, so I think he's activating. Yeah, so when the ads disappear, Kel'Thuzad will activate when you kill the last ad or after 10 seconds. So you can see here, like, you know, the Soul Weavers and stuff like that still up. And Kel'Thuzad will now be in. There he is. So basically you're going to kill Kel'Thuzad immediately, and he just dies. Just in case you guys are wondering what else happens, is that at 30%, he'll spawn all these ads and just kind of get enough to achieve it by killing all the mobs, by the way. He'll spawn 2 spider ads. They'll come from here and here, the Guardians. And you have to off-tank. You can either CC them with Shaka 1 Dead or Frost Traps, or just kill them. It doesn't matter either or what you do. And yeah, that was pretty much Naxxramas. Also in Vanilla, Kel'Thuzad randomly mind controlled 2 players, and you had to break them out as well. And also he did a thing called, I think it's like a Void Zone that pops up and it, you know, kills people. And a nasty Frost debuff as well that hits random people. So that's the things you have to watch out for in this dungeon. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for a trip down memory lane. We're going to